Right guys, I had to quickly make this video on Napier Barracks and the utter piss take going on down there, or should I say at the High Court. As some of you might know, the government is being taken to court in a desperate bid to have the illegal immigrants taken out of the barracks and put who knows where, likely in the Ritz Hotel or something like that. Personally, I think the only place they should be is on a plane home, but that goes without saying and is obviously not going to happen. Now, it is being reported that the Home Office was told not to put these people in a barracks, which naturally snivelling shitweasels at the Guardian have jumped on like a bitch on heat, with Kent Online also reporting it. On top of that, they're also reporting the fact that the Home Office is now admitting the barracks are not good enough for illegal immigrants and actually breach their human rights, despite them being good enough for serving British soldiers. This is just unbelievable, or it would be if we didn't hear this shit all the time. Now, this breaching human rights claim pisses me off just as much as Boris Johnson jumping on the Myanmar bandwagon, talking about human rights breaches while he shits all over our human rights daily by making everything illegal. But much like Boris Johnson's tweet, this Kent Online article is so full of shit we need to take a look at it. It headlines conditions at Folkestone's Napier Barracks could be argued as a human rights breach, says the Home Office. Which obviously shows what a bunch of cucks the Home Office is and everyone there. The Home Office has conceded that an asylum camp conditions could be argued as a human rights breach. 6 people brought the claims against the Home Secretary after being made to live in Folkestone's Napier Barracks, which has been described as unsafe and atrocious. Yeah, it's been described as that by a bunch of left-wing shitweasels that no one gives a toss about. Well, of course, except for The Guardian, Kent Online, and Ramoning shit cunt rags like that. It says a Home Affairs Committee heard earlier this month that there was no way for the inhabitants to be kept safe from COVID, with 120 of the 390 residents having tested positive for COVID on January 25th, a figure called understandably extremely concerning. Which, okay then, will give you it's extremely concerning how many of them have died, how many of them actually got ill. My guessing at this point, since we haven't heard nothing about it, would be absolutely fucking none of them. It goes on, today it was announced the asylum seekers will have a High Court trial after Home Office lawyers gave the go-ahead for a full trial into conditions in the camp. It challenged the use of the site on 5 grounds, including that the conditions breached the European Convention on Human Rights and that it failed to meet essential living needs under the Immigration and Asylum Act. Furthermore, they're arguing it breaches the terms of the contract between the Home Office and its contractor Clear Springs, and that their stay in the camp amounts to unlawful detention. Which once again is just pissing in our pockets and telling us it's raining. We're all locked in our homes under unlawful detention and these people are in the High Court challenging it under European human rights laws. This is just taking the piss. Where is anyone trying to protect our human rights and stop this government from going full-blown Chinese Communist Party on us? Absolutely nowhere to be fucking seen. They're all over illegal immigrants trying to break into the country though, as you can see. It says minutes before a day-long hearing before Mr. Justice Chamberlain was due to start, Home Office lawyers contacted the legal team of 4 of the complainants, Dighton Pierce Glenn, to say they would concede that all legal arguments made by DPG were arguable and so permission should be granted. The Home Office disputed one additional argument made by Matthew Gold and co-solicitors. Mr. Justice Chamberlain proceeded to grant permission for all 5 of the grounds put forward by the DPG complainants and directed that a final hearing will take place in the week commencing April 21st. Sue Willman, solicitor of Dighton Pierce Glenn, the firm representing 4 of the complainants, said, "The Home Secretary has to date conceded that the arguments we made on behalf of asylum seekers held in Napier Barracks were arguable and that the case should go ahead to a full trial. This is very welcome news. Our clients were subjected to demeaning conditions in Napier Barracks for over 4 months before the Home Office was ordered by the court to move them to alternative adequate accommodation. Which means they're in a 4-star hotel or they've already been given a house. Let's be honest here, it's going to be one of those two." It goes on, it's due to the determined work of NGOs and campaigners including Care for Calais, Humans for Right Networks, Kent Refugee Action Network, Samfire Project and the Helen Bamber Foundation that has brought this to light. So everyone has all of those organisations there for all of this shit show costing us even more money than it does. And as a matter of fact, maybe the Home Office and the government should be charging them for this shit show. They go on, refugees arriving in the UK, often after experiencing torture and trafficking, have the right to be provided with basic humane accommodation. Which obviously an army barracks that was good enough for British soldiers clearly is, but these fuckers are just taking the piss out of us at this point. I think anyone would agree with that. It says disused military barracks at Napier and Penally are far from that and now need to be closed. The claimants cannot be identified for legal reasons. We don't really give a shit. At the end of the day, the whole article was essentially just an illegal immigrant promoting load of bollocks. I read through it just so yous could hear it. Clearly, though, the government has really got to do something about it, and the Home Office have got to stop being such a bunch of cucks. Realistically, though, it doesn't surprise me in the slightest. Like I've said before, I blame them and the government over anyone else for this complete shit show. Personally, I think the government, as I said, should be doing something about these NGOs and activist tosspots, but obviously everyone has a right to do what they want, even if I completely disagree with what the fuck they are doing. Still, I wouldn't complain if the government actually tried to do something to stop them pushing this bollocks. But let's be honest, the government's piss weak and are not gonna do fuck all. In fact, they might well import more of them for these NGOs to cost the taxpayer more money with.